Hello and welcome to the Daily Mill for Friday, the 22nd of April 2022. In today's Millwall news, we will start off with this, and it's stories about Jed Wallace. Now, the speculation about Jed Wallace and where he might be going next has seemed to start to bubble up again, which is kind of strange because at the moment he's injured. And the last time it bubbled up was obviously in the January transfer window, with the bids from Nottingham Forest, 2 bids I believe, and he was injured then as well. What a strange coincidence that is. But here we have a story from BBC.co.uk. Jed Wallace, Cardiff City would sign Millwall player, but there has been no contact. Cardiff City boss Steve Morisons would sign Mill's Jed Wallace in a heartbeat, but says there has been no contact with his former teammates. Attacking midfielder Wallace, 28, is due to become a free agent in June, has been linked with the Bluebirds. Cardiff looks set for a squad rebuild this summer, although Morisons concedes Wallace may be out of their reach. I don't even know where the putting 2 and 2 together has come from, said Morisons. I'd sign Jed Wallace in a heartbeat, but I'm sure Millwall don't want to let him go, and will do everything they can to keep him. He's been Mill's best player since I've left. You see that line? That's very suggestive of Steve Morisons' ego there. Did he mean to say it the way it sounds? I don't know, because we're reading words that were spoken, but he's been Mill's best player since I left, assuming that when Steve Morisons was in his last year at Millwall, he assumed that he was Mill's best player. That did make me laugh. There won't be a team in the Championship, and I presume the lower end of the Premier League, that won't want to take him. There will always be an offer on the table for Jed. It will just be for a lot less than elsewhere. So he's saying they will have an offer for Jed, but they probably can't compete. So it could come down to location. I mean, Jed is he in the Hampshire area near Portsmouth still? Cardiff's not that far away. It's probably a lot easier to get to than London. The London commute, with everyone coming into London, I'm not sure that many people will be commuting the other way from Hampshire to Cardiff. It might be easy for them. Wallace has established himself as one of the Championship's most menacing attacking players with Millwall. The Lions were in League One when he initially joined on loan from Wolves in 2016, but were promoted in 2017. Wallace has scored 43 goals in 258 appearances for the London club and was subject to serious interest from Steve Cooper's Nottingham Forest in January. Yes, Morisons is in regular contact, but says they have not discussed the idea of a move to Wales, or maybe, well, no, that's not tapping up, is it? Because Wallace can speak to other clubs from January, so he could speak to him about moving to Cardiff. That wouldn't be against the rules. We may have many a conversation here now and then. When he wants some advice or just wants to chat, he added. I haven't spoken about him coming to Cardiff. Unfortunately, he could get money in lots of places, but he's not interested in that. He's interested in getting promoted to the Premier League and being part of something. Morisons says he may have to be creative in his transfer dealings because Cardiff do not have the same financial resources as some Championship sides. Yes, and then he goes on to the rest of the stories about Cardiff, which are not really interested in, but there you go. Apparently someone linked Jed Wallace with Cardiff, and Steve Morisons kind of having a chuckle saying, I would love to, but probably couldn't afford it. But there you go. So we've also got this from LondonNewsOnline.co.uk, because there has been other speculation. So we all want him to stay. Millwall boss on Jed Wallace after fresh claims Besiktas chasing star attacker. Yeah, and I did look into that Besiktas story. It was kind of Chinese whispers. One website was linked to another website, which was linked to another website, which is in Turkish, and to get translated. And it basically just said Besiktas are confident of signing Jed Wallace. There's no, they've done it. It's agreed. They believe it's just like, and it's literally nothing. Literally nothing. Mill's key decision makers all want Jed Wallace to extend his stay in SE16. The 28-year-old attacker will be out of contract this summer and is signed on with a groin injury that will rule him out of tomorrow's trip to Birmingham City. A report earlier this week claimed that Wallace was close to agreeing on a close season switch to Besiktas, the Turkish club, were linked with the former Wolves and Portsmouth winger in the January transfer window. No, they weren't. What happened was they weren't linked to signing him then. The story was, as I believe, but it's all hearsay. The story come out that Besiktas are close to agreeing a deal with Jed Wallace to sign in the summer. That was the story. So it was to be signing in the summer. Then after that, we had the bids from Nottingham Forest. So I kind of said, well, it kind of seemed that was being used. The Besiktas link was being used to kind of get clubs to stop messing around and start doing something. And Nottingham Forest put 2 bids in, which Millwall rejected. Which seems to be very good now in hindsight, as we are on the brink of getting in the playoffs. Let's carry on. But Millwall not resigned yet to losing Wallace, who has played 258 matches for the club. The simple facts are that Jed has probably been as good a player for us in the last 3 years as any other and performed brilliantly in the Championship. Lions manager Gary Pratt told the South London Press, "I personally, as a manager, would love to keep him. The owner, Steve, Alex Aldridge, we'd all love to keep him. I think Jed knows that from us trying to keep him. We are also aware he'll want to make that decision at the end of the season. I think that's right for him to do that, and there is going to be lots of speculation from different clubs abroad. From these shores in Scotland, there will be all sorts of stuff going around. Some of it could have some truth, some is probably not true. Therefore, we won't really concern ourselves with that. He loves the club and knows how much he means to the club and our fans, but at the same time, he's a professional footballer with a family, and at the end of the season, I'm pretty sure he'll make whatever decision is right for him. We desperately want to keep him. We will do everything we can to try to do that." So yeah. Now, if we do get in the playoffs and we don't go up, but we get close, and if some players are signed early on in the summer, will Jed change his mind? Will he think, okay, we could be doing this? We could be doing better next season. We might be getting promoted next season, and then he stay. But then I'm sure the club want a multi-year deal. Will they accept a 1-year deal? But if we sign Jed on if Jed wants a 1-year deal, just to give Millwall one last chance to get promoted, with the team that's done well to get in the playoffs, if we get there, will the club go for that? Because we just repeat this saga all over again next season. Would you want that? No, I'm probably not. But we will see. Just a kind of weird, strange coincidence that every time Jed gets injured, he starts to get linked with other clubs. So we're going to move on to this now about Danny McNamara being bigged up by Paul Robinson, the Birmingham one, not the Millwall one. So Millwall defender has the ability to play at top level. Verdict of former Premier League defender now on Lions coaching staff. Danny McNamara is being tipped to play in the Premier League by Millwall first team coach Paul Robinson. The 23-year-old right back has made 33 appearances this season and is believed to be on the cusp of a full international call-up by the Republic of Ireland. Yeah, I brought that, I think it was a couple of weeks ago. So that Nations League thing is happening in literally a week after the playoffs in this country, the beginning of June, and there's literally 4 games in 2 weeks or so. It's crazy. So I think the Irish team are looking to take a big squad, but a lot of players are injured. They're going to be out. They're going to cry off of it. So McNamara could be in the picture there for that. Robinson, who plied his trade in the top flight for West Brom, Bolton and Watford, said, "I played left wing back. I know what he needs to go to that level. He's been excellent. I've got a lot of time for Danny. His attitude is brilliant. He always wants to do extra, and there are times we have to calm him down because we've got a game coming up. I do believe if he keeps working the way he is, that he will play at the highest level. I get flashbacks to myself in Danny. He's a winner. He will get the fans up with a tackle, and sometimes you need that when the atmosphere is a bit quiet. You need that first tackle to go in. Sometimes the fans need that lift from one of their own. Myself and Adam work with the young lads, and the likes of Danny and Billy Mitchell are the future of the football club. It's a big praise there for Danny McNamara from Paul Robinson. The new one, not the old one. It depends how you think about it. We got two Paul Robinson at our club now. It's not the one who played for Millwall. It's the one who's now coaching Millwall. So yeah, interesting. I would love to see Danny get picked for the Republic of Ireland. Yeah, it would be nice to see him do that. Moving on now to this that popped up. So yesterday I told you about the training at the club. It wasn't just training at the club. There was a purpose behind the training at the club, and it was this: Mill hosts Kit Sponsors Day at the Den. Benefits enjoyed by all. Mill Football Club hosted its Kit Sponsors Day at the Den on Thursday, the 21st of April, aimed at allowing sponsors to enjoy the benefits of purchased kit sponsorship packages. The day saw attendees watch the Lions training in SC16 before each receiving a bespoke frame, complete with signed shirt and a photograph of their sponsor player or member of staff. Now apparently that's the only way you can buy a bloody shirt now, because the club have understocked the Macron shirts because they're getting rid of Macron at the end of the season. So literally the only way you could have got a shirt was spending 200 plus to get this stuff. Now the sponsors then enjoyed a 2-course lunch with the first team squad before taking their frames home with them as a memento of the day. You can look at our gallery from the Kit Sponsors Day 21-22 above. Yeah, so here you go. Now I don't know if this is all the kit sponsors. This is a new thing that they were doing, or if because a lot of kit sponsors came on late in the day, they run out of games for them to participate. I think they usually get the meal at a game, and then the player comes over probably after the game or whatever and hands them the shirt, has a little word with them, and then cracks on. I think that's what usually happens. I think maybe they didn't have enough games left for the glut of people that signed on for this to all get a chance to do that. So I think they did this extra little thing here which they're doing, and there's Barbie Akowski there. If you look up at the top, in the fancy seats are all the sponsors there, and there you can see them. So there's not that many. I don't think there's everyone who sponsors that's clearly not everyone who sponsors a shirt. So I think it is just the latecomers who didn't get a chance to attend a Millwall game and get their prize that way, the normal way. But here they are, all packed in there, watching the Lions train. Then they've got on the pitch with the player. So there's a chap there who sponsored Murray Wallace's shirt. I could probably tell you who that is because they mention it in the programs which I have festooned around me. Just gonna pull it up. So let's see, where are we as I flick through this? Indeed. Wow, this is a bit. Bear with me 1 second, please. The pages are very shiny and hard to flick through and land on a individual page. Here we go. So I think that is Dave Pollard, according to the 21-22 play kit sponsorship page that I have in front of me in the program for the Memorial Day. That seems to be Dave Pollard, who sponsors Murray Wallace's home kit. We then have Scott Malone now. And who are these lovely people? That's the home kit. So that is Yvonne and Steve Main there. Yvonne and Steve Main there. Blimey, Scott Malone. Is he tall or are they short? Don't know there. There's a child only taking a day off school. Good for you. Sponsoring Ojo, and that is Chloe and George from the Newport Pagnell Lions. I assume that's who they are. Maybe that's the daughter of George. I don't know, but they are with Ojo. Here is Benica Phobie, and who would that be with them? I believe that these are from a company called Savard Stamps. Is that stamps as in postage stamps, or some kind of other stamps like industrial stamping stuff to stamp, like machinery stamping? Don't know. I assume they look very corporate, don't they? Mate, I think there's this Savard Stamps there. Interesting. And there you are, around a table, having their lunch afterwards. And yeah, interesting stuff. And at each table, the player that the persons have sponsored, all having a nice chat there. There's the blue kit that you can't get for love nor money. I can't even get it in 4XL anymore. Missed the boat. Can't get nothing on the club shop. Well, on the online club shop. Maybe if I go down to the ground, there might be a possibility to buy one there. I don't know. If they've got the mannequin in the window with the thing on, I might ask if I can buy that one. Yeah. I think that's the only way. There's George Savile and Luke Freeman. What are they having there? It looks like they're having the Sunday roast. So that's sausages, potatoes, veg, chicken, is it? Interesting stuff. Yeah. There's Keithton Bell there, looking handsome. There's Charlie Burke there, looking like an Amish. Yeah, there you have it. So interesting thing there done by Millwall Football Club, Kit Sponsors Day. And like I said, I don't know if that was like a one-off thing to make up for the lack of games for them to do this at, or it was a thing going forward. I would imagine it would be doing it on match days a bit hectic with everything that's going on. This is probably a lot quieter, a lot more intimate. So I don't know, which one would you prefer? Moving on now to pardon me. Moving on now to this story from betting website Sporting Life. Now, I don't know about you watching this, but like many Englishmen, I am a part-time degenerate gambler. And this story caught my eye as I was looking for something to bet on. And it says Championship Playoffs. Who will finish in the top 6? By Liam Kelly for Sporting Life. Every year the race for promotion to the Premier League delivers. After all, with the playoffs ending in a moment of finality for all 4 teams involved, how could it not distribute drama? There is typically a lot more to play for at this stage of the season than the current situation in the Sky Bet Championship. However, in regard to the automatic promotion places, Fulham were promoted to the Premier League on Tuesday night, while Bournemouth hold all the cards for the second spot, 4 points clear of third with 2 games in hand. At the opposite end of the table, Derby are already down, and Peterborough and Barnsley can be confidently labelled as the other 2 sides who will join them in League One next term. Additionally, 3 of the 4 player positions appear to be filled. Yes, I agree with that. Huddersfield, Luton and Nottingham Forest enjoyed the Easter weekend more than most, separating themselves from the chocolate mess below. How dare you, sir? Perhaps it doesn't make up for all the relative certainties with multiple games remaining, but the competition for the final playoff spot is a gripping one that includes a substantial amount of clubs. Indeed, it's hard to draw the line as to where the battle stops exactly. And here you go, they made this little section of table. All of these teams are playing for that one last playoff spot. It's literally a mini league of 8 teams. It's insane. And clearly, depending on the results tomorrow, some of these teams could drop away. I don't think any of these teams are playing each other, so they could all carry on until next week. Roll it over. Just above West Brom, who sit in 12th, would be a sensible marker, if not for the presence of Swansea behind the Baggies. If they win their game in hand, Swatchy latch onto the pack, chasing 6th place Sheffield United, which consists of Millwall, Blackburn, Middlesbrough, QPR and Coventry. So yeah, this game in hand, obviously this is being played next Tuesday and Wednesday, 26th, 27th. So after then, things will be a lot more clearer, especially with Middlesbrough. So here's the odds to finish in the top 6. Obviously, they're gambling on it because why not? And here is Info Goals percentage chance of making a championship top 6. And they ascertain that Huddersfield, Luton and Nottingham Forest are 100% in the top 6. Even though I think mathematically they can still be caught. But it's highly unlikely. Then they reckon, so for this last place, they reckon Sheffield United have a 41% chance. And then it's Middlesbrough with 35% chance. Well, I guess because they have that game in hand. And then they go Millwall with 16% chance. Then it fades away. You can see on the screen. Blades and Borough gone off the boil. Sheffield United had the chance to create a buffer for the rest before a disappointing 1-1 draw with Bristol City at a weekend, making it just one win in their last 5 league games. Ouch. Not a good time to go out of form. It's not the best time to be having a tense moment, and that's what I just said. Only exacerbated by the fact that their low XG throw in greater likelihood of variance. The Blades still remain the favourites with Infogol for the final spot though, with others floundering at the same time. Middlesbrough, who hold a 35% chance based on the same simulations, have problems of their own, gaining a single point across their last 4 matches. Borough haven't scored in that time. They haven't scored in 4 matches. And have failed to test their opposition at the most important point of the season thus far. And they have XGs in their last 4 games of 0.52, 0.64 and 0.77 after a fairly promising performance in a 1-0 defeat to Fulham. So their best attacking moments were in against the toughest game against Fulham. 0.77. That is... yeah. Now you know why a lot of Millwall fans believe in. When you see what's happening to Sheffield United and Middlesbrough, they're arseholes of them. They bottled it. They're bottling it. It's in your head. You don't have to have the best players. You have to have the players who've got their head screwed on. The second best defence in the Championship, according to underlying metrics, this is Middlesbrough he's talking about, remains strong, but a swift turnaround is needed up top if Borough want to challenge for promotion. With games against Cardiff, Stoke and Preston following, win at Swansea on Saturday night will put them right back in the race. If they can't score, they can't win, so they want to sort that out, don't they? Lions still raw into 6? Question mark. Mill could possibly feel a little aggrieved by the smaller chance given to them to make it the top 6, 16%, especially when considering they're one of the few informed teams in the playoff push. Gary outside might well have been overachieved from a data perspective this season, sitting 15th on the Infogol's XG table. Yeah, what that means is basically, in terms of our attacking ability going forward and the chances they create, we should be 15th in the table. So you could say we're overperforming, or we are highly efficient and getting a lot of points from not very many chances going forward. With an expected goal difference of -4.1. But Millwall are in the fight with just 3 games to go, essentially rendering the previous 43 matches mute. But the Lions can now look forward to very winnable games against Birmingham and Peterborough. They'll also be hoping that Bournemouth secure promotion before their final day meeting. Rovers and Rangers run out of gas. Pardon me. Perhaps the most disappointing team in the last few months of the campaign has been Blackburn, who have gained only 11 points from a possible 45 since January 29, creating just 17.9 XG across those 15 games. on its own is not good enough to be involved in a top 6, but scoring a measly 8 goals during that spell has almost ended their chances of promotion. They've scored 8 goals in 15 games. Ouch. Oh yo yo. Some solid defensive efforts are the only thing keeping Tony Mowbray's men in touch, although they are still technically in the hunt. Blackburn can readily be dismissed on current form. Indeed, hopefully. QPR ended a 5-game losing streak with a draw against Huddersfield and an unconvincing win against Derby in the past week, but their sheer inconsistency is enough to warrant their big price to finish in a playoff position. The same can be said of Coventry, who've enjoyed a terrific season in the second tier. It's a difficult run-in for the Sky Blues, too, facing West Brom and Huddersfield, sides that have a fair amount on the line. And it's lucky for us that QPR are just starting to get back into it now, because they have to play Sheffield United at home. So it's QPR versus Sheffield United at Loftus Road, Crying Prince Stadium. If they're back in form and they can beat Sheffield United, thank you very much, QPR. Thank you very much. So who has the hardest fixtures? Talking of a tough schedule, Swansea's is a scary one. It's unlikely that Russell Martin's side will still be in the race after games against Middlesbrough, Bournemouth and Nottingham Forest. A solid explanation behind their 501 odds to finish in the top 6. And they got this graphic here, which I've got a better picture of on this website. This is Twitter. So you got the teams there, and they're ranked in the thing on the right with the colours. This is, I believe it's XG projection against what you've done so far and the teams you got remaining. So the thing in the middle is the remaining fixtures, as you can see. Bournemouth and Nottingham Forest have 5 games left. 5 games in 2 weeks. Some teams have 3. Or most teams have 3, some teams have 4. But according to this, the team that has the easiest running is Blackpool. Now they've done it for the whole league, even though there's only the only thing to play for is realistically 2nd and 6th, the last playoff spot. The relegation places are all sorted. It's just those 2 things to play for. So they reckon Blackpool, West Brom and Huddersfield have the easiest finish. But look where we are. We're at the top there. Our 5th easiest finish against a team that I'll tell you later. Birmingham should be relegated. I'll tell you why later, and maybe you've already seen it and figured it out. Team that will be relegated, Peterborough United, and then the team in 2nd at the moment. And hopefully by the time, if you look down here, if you look at Bournemouth and Forest, they've got to play each other. So hopefully that's going to sap Bournemouth's energy. But hopefully they have a tough game, but they manage to get a grind out result that will see them promoted. Because straight after they play Nottingham Forest to see who goes 2nd or 3rd, they've got to play Millwall at home in an early kick-off on a Saturday. Yes, please. Fantastic. This is why you've got to start believing it's all coming together. If we're fit and ready to go, look at Bournemouth got to play 5 games in 2 weeks. Insane. Absolutely insane. And not only that, it looks like they're playing Fulham this week. They're playing Fulham tomorrow. And they play... Every game they've got is against a team in the top half. Crazy. So yeah, Millwall's finish is pretty decent compared to the next one we got to worry about. Middlesbrough. There are only 2 places below us in the easiest fixture list. And then you go down to Blackburn, who are 12.3. Forest are 11.6. They got to play Fulham and Bournemouth. So QPR 11.3. So the farther down you go, the harder their fixtures are. Look, Sheffield United. Sheffield United have to play Fulham on the last game of the season. Before that they got to play QPR. So the next week they're playing QPR away. Then they got to play Fulham at home. It's all coming together, isn't it? It's all coming together for Millwall to get in there and sneak in there. It is, but yes, they do all this and say all this, but then you look down the left hand side where it's the forecast where each team will finish. and they reckon Millwall are going to finish 8th. So we're not even. They're saying we're not even going to get 6th. They reckon we're not even going to be finished 7th. They reckon Middlesbrough are going to finish 7th. Millwall are going to finish 8th, and they still think Sheffield United will finish 6th, even though they've said they've got a lot harder finish. They've got a 9.3, whatever that is, XG. I think that's XG. In terms of Millwall's 15.3, and Middlesbrough's 14.8 with a game in hand. So how do they forecast that? Even though they say what they're saying, but then they give the forecast of Mill finishing 8th. As mentioned, West Brom simply fall short of the line when drawing up this battle. Missed scoring opportunities have seriously afflicted their tumultuous campaign, scoring 47 goals from 68.2 XG. Rebounding in 22-23 should be on their mind. So yeah, they've had the amount of chances they've had. They should have had 68 goals, but they only scored 47. So that's just, in truth, almost every championship side have an eye on things beyond the 46 games this season, and with barring a tight relegation fight, it's possible that this kind of situation might deliver the most drama, considering the finality involved. Much like the end of the NBA season, we have a play-in before the playoffs. Yeah, there's a little mini playoffs before the actual playoffs. And that's why, quite often, when you get the team that just sneaks in there, I think Blackpool did this many years ago, when you just sneak in there, you're so hyped up and fantastic, because you've just won the little pre-tournament to get into the actual tournament. This is it. We've got to win this. We have to win this little mini league here. We don't have to play any of these teams. We're playing 2 teams at the bottom, one just above the relegation zone and one in the relegation zone. And then we play a team in a second at the moment who hopefully are already promoted by the time we play them, who might be a bit knackered. They've got to play 2 more games than we do. It is all coming together. And yeah. So let's see what happens in tomorrow's game. So let's preview that now. We're going to start here with the head-to-head, as we always do. This is from 11v11.com. Now, surprisingly, we haven't played Birmingham City that many times. Probably only about 20 times if you're lucky. I think probably 23 or so. Yeah, not that many. So I've sorted it by games at Birmingham City, and all the way back in 1946, just after the war, we lost 4-0, and we did win there in 1967, our first win. 1967, 1968, we had a pretty decent team in those years. We won 3-2 and 2-1, and then we didn't win for a very long time, travelling up to Birmingham over many decades. The 70s, 2 games in the 80s, did not win. 1990s and 2000s. And the last time we won up there, the next time we won up there from the 1960s, 1968, was in 2015, after many trips and many years of trying. And that was a 1-0 win, this one here. And then we played them the year in 2018, and we beat them 1-0 again. And then after that, it was a 2-0 win in 2019, then 2 draws, a 1-1 and a 0-0. And that was the last game that we played up there at St Andrews. Was a 0-0 against Birmingham. It was a 0-0 draw in the league. And you can see here from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games unbeaten on our trips up to Birmingham City. Yeah, the club have they've been poorly mismanaged, haven't they? It seems, from the outside looking in. The Chinese owner, was the Hong Kong guy, who had trouble legally somewhere and had to divest himself or something similar. I don't know who owns the club now, but it's all very weird, isn't it? And it seems the times that they're in is not very good for them. It's good for us because we are unbeaten in our last 5 trips up there. So that seems to be the going rate at the moment, is we can go up there and win. So moving on now to the most recent form. This is from whoscored.com. This is the last 6 trips up to play Birmingham. Birmingham have won 1 of them. There's been 2 draws and 3 wins for Millwall. And quite remarkably, only in all these games, only 5 goals for Birmingham and 5 goals for Millwall. We have kept 4 clean sheets in 6 games. They have kept 2 clean sheets in 6 games. And going all the way back to the last time we lost up there, 4-0 in 2013. And if you go by games at home and away, Millwall are undefeated in the last 6 matches against Birmingham in all competitions. That includes home and away. Birmingham have seen under 2.5 goals in their last 5 home matches against Millwall in all competitions. Yeah, so we've kept them quiet. They haven't scored. And we haven't scored that many ourselves. So we scored 2 in 2019. But yeah, a low scoring affair apparently. Here's the current table as we stand. Millwall are in 7th, 65 points. Birmingham are in 20th with 45. They've lost the last 3 games in the league. We have 1 drawn and won our last 3 games in the league. They've scored less goals than us, 46, and conceded 70 goals. 70 goals. So how does that compare in terms of... Let's look at the form table. They're rock bottom. They're 24th in the league. 1 win, 1 draw, 4 defeats, scoring 4 goals and conceding 14 in the last 6 games in the league. We are 11th, 222, 9-8, 8 points. Let's go back and look at the home standing. So this is home. Birmingham are 19th in the league for home form. And away form, we are 15th. We are 15th. So there you have it. As we go down, we can see the last 6 home games for Birmingham, the last 6 away games for Millwall. Remarkably, I'm wondering, will we score an own goal tomorrow? We scored an own goal against Preston, we scored an own goal against Luton, we scored an own goal against Stoke. The last 3 away matches, Millwall have scored own goals. Quite remarkable. We failed to score at Blackburn and Stoke, but we scored in the other 4 games. Scored 2 at Derby, 2 at Luton. We've kept a clean sheet against Reading and Blackburn. Highly likely I think we'll keep a clean sheet tomorrow. Looking at Birmingham, what they've done. Now the 2 recent games, they didn't do that badly, but they are local derbies, so maybe that was a factor. They beat West Brom 1-0. They were beating Coventry 2-0 until they ended up losing 4-2. So they were 2-0 up. Then in the second half they ended up losing 4-2, which is insane. They beat Luton 3-0 at home, but then they failed to score against Huddersfield, Hull and Middlesbrough. And they drew the 0-0 against Hull, but the other 2 were 2-0s against them. So it really is a mixed bag, isn't it? It really is a mixed bag. Now, these 2 last recent results, is that because they were local derbies, or is it because things have changed? They're up for it? I don't know. In their most recent game, if we click onto that, of course, they lost 6-1 away at Blackpool. That's not good. So in the last 2 games, they conceded 10 goals. Now, we are not known for our scoring prowess this season. But if we're playing against a team that's conceded 10 goals in the last 2 games, I think we can score at least 1, hopefully 2. Yeah, so let's see. Here's the strengths and weaknesses. If you want to watch that, if you want to read that, pause it now and have a read of it. We're going to move on now to the actual prediction from whoscored.com and what do they think is going to happen. So, they have a lot of injuries at the moment, and let's see what's happening. So, Birmingham are enduring a miserable end to the season, with questions over Lee Bowyer's future amplified by a disastrous 6-1 away defeat against Blackpool. The Blues have lost 3 league games on the bounce and will be in relegation zone if it weren't for Reading and Derby's respective points deduction. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this team deserves to be relegated. If it was just on playing ability, they would be in that third relegation place above Barnsley and Peterborough, but they have been saved from relegation by financial misconduct at Reading and Derby. This is a team that should be being relegated to League One. That is how bad they really are. That is how bad they really are. Millwall came flying out of the blocks in the second half against Hull on Easter Monday as they claimed a 2-1 win at the Den. Garrow outside looked out of the running up for the top six, but a 3-match unbeaten run has moved the Lions within 1 point of 6th place to Sheffield United, and they predict Birmingham City 0, Millwall 3. Nice, I'll have some of that. Now we move on to David Pratt's prediction for SkySports.com. What is happening here? What's he gonna say? Where are we? Here we are. So, it has turned into another really bad season for Birmingham. Were it not for points deductions for others, they would be in a really bad spot. And that drubbing at Blackpool last weekend was an absolute shambles. Millwall will be desperate to capitalise. Their playoff dream is alive and kicking, but it may take 3 wins from 3 to get there. This is a must win and they should get all 3 points. Pratt predicts Birmingham City 0, Millwall 2. So you've got a 2-0 prediction, a 3-0 prediction, and now I'm going to give you my prediction. I think it's going to be... I think they're going to collapse like a pack of cards. I think once we get one, I think it might be 0-0 at half time, maybe 1-0 at half time, as we usually do it. And once we put the pressure on in the second half, I think we're going to win 4-0. I think it's going to be Birmingham City 0, Millwall 4, and I predict that, as is typical when Millwall beat a team that are in very bad form, that Lee Bowyer will be fired immediately after the game, and it will be another person with what would you call a Millwall manager curse. Yeah, I think we're going to win 4-0. I think it'll probably be 0-0, 1-0 at half time, and then they'll collapse in the second half and we'll win 4-0, which we desperately need to fix the goal difference. And I think everyone's going to be absolutely fucking buzzing for next week, last home game of the season against Peterborough United. Yeah, I believe. I'm a believer. 4-0 to Millwall. And on that note, thank you for watching.